I'm gonna read into the record something that applies to what I said, that included like the unacceptable way our political class and the legislative branch on both sides is behaving, the harm it's causing to millions of people, what just happened, and the way in which they're sort of doing a kind of theater that is simply not acceptable because it's unreal, and they're harming people with what they claim but is going on behind closed doors, all that stuff. But there's a the way they're appearing when they come talk to the public is some kind of theater they're playing out, and it's unacceptable that this is allowed to go on in a bunch of ways. But it's you have to perceive it, you know. I'm reading the record. It might be it's just something to read about, like how do you what the hell's going on with this? I mean, the way they appear when they come on a television, and that they think people would accept it, like this whole behavior, which looks more like, I don't know what to say. But what do you how do what do we can I just want to read something that might. Oh, let's just read it into the record, and then we'll just see what happens. It has to do with how people are perceiving, like when they see this going on, closed door meetings, no explanation of what it means that they're going to take away people's food stamps and unemployment at a time like this, but they're claiming there has something to do with a complex negotiation, what behind closed doors that we're unaware of. What kind of negotiation would cause that? Like they think they're gonna get away with sort of a kind of theater when they come on our TVs. That's unacceptable. It's unacceptable, and no one calls it out. They're messing with people's perception of what's happening. So I thought this would be something we could read. It's sort of in a text that has some sort of, let's just like do this. It has to do with how people are perceiving, but also like why they can know that they're doing something that means there needs to be some kind of like change in a bunch of things. But one will be how people are perceiving it, whether they accept this or not. This is what it says here. On the topic of how perception and knowledge. It said perception must be straightened out. Perception must be straightened out before you can know anything. What's going on? Well, perception has to be straightened out first. To know is to be certain. Uncertainty means that essentially we do not know. Knowledge is power, but knowledge is power because it's certain, and certainty is strength. Perception is subject to either fear or confusion, misperceptions which produce fear, and misperceptions that produce fear brings uncertainty because all perception varies and is uncertain. So you're not certain of what you're perceiving when they do these behaviors, so we don't really know what's happening and why. It would be the thing to fill in. Misperception produces fear. That is why it is not knowledge. True perception is the basis for knowledge, but knowing is the affirmation of reality and beyond perception. That is, the facts, have to be logical as to why things are happening, what they mean by negotiation, and what kind of negotiation would lead to harming 2 million poor people. And it was before anything can happen that everyone's perception has to be straightened out in some sense about the way in which what they're doing doesn't make any sense, and where we don't know what's happening. We don't know, because our perception's being screwed with by this legislative branch, and they're sort of getting away with it. They're screwing with our perception. They're doing something behind closed doors. These people who appear and make it sound like they've been sort of trying to hammer it out, but the end result is like, millions of people are simply going to be like on the street now, taking away all the assistance they have, and there's no work. Well, something's we're being messed with in how we perceive things, and they can't get away with it because we don't know the facts, and that's how we don't know the facts. They're doing things when they appear on our TV, all of which are like not acceptable. And the harm it's causing means we need more facts, and for them to stop playing out something they're claiming that we can just accept what they're doing, what they're saying, when so much of it is unclear and we don't know. These people are screwing with our perception, and that's not how a political class. They can't get away with doing what they're doing, and this is a great example. What are they negotiating about? What are the facts of such a negotiation that ends with harming the poor like that? Is what this sort of is about. Is that worth reading to the record? Well, your friend has been trying everything, because there's a lot going on in our thing today and yesterday, but I believe to just participate.